Before we get started, Hollyland did send us the Mars 400S Pro for review, but we're not paid to say anything besides our own opinions, and Hollyland does not get to see this video before it is published. We just want to say thank you to Hollyland for letting us to review their products. Let's get straight to the point. As a wireless video transmitter for filmmakers, the most important things are latency, the strength, and the stability of the video being transmitted. Here's the result when we were testing the Mars 400S Pro. So I'm just going to wave my hand in front of the camera to show you the latency in general. The speed between the monitor and the iPad, it seems like the iPad is a tad faster, but I might be wrong. But let's get started with this stopwatch right here on my iPhone. Just gonna start it, and I'm gonna pause at one screen with a clearer number so you can see the difference in terms of latency. Again, this is the balance mode. This is the balance mode. All right, now we're at HD mode with the transmitter scene mode set to HD. So this is higher quality in terms of image quality, but then the speed will for sure be a little bit laggier compared to the balance mode. Now we're in speed mode on the transmitter. You can only set the speed on the transmitter, which is perfect, which makes sense because sometimes you might not be using a receiver, and the transmitter is the one that should determine the speed of the image being transmitted. And this is gonna be the speed of the speed mode, which is gonna have the lowest image quality, but the highest speed in terms of image transmission. The latency of the Mars 400S Pro is very minimal. It is definitely under a second when you are using the HD mode or the balance mode. If you want even better result, you can go with the speed mode that gives you the least amount of latency with an acceptable image quality. The image quality in speed mode is not bad at all. I would suggest you to use the HD mode or the balance mode when you need the clearest image on the monitor for things like compositions. It is good for monitoring a static shot where there is no big movements. For more intensive scenes or focus pulling, definitely choose the speed mode because that will affect the result heavily. For action scenes, if you are using the monitor to time certain things, a split second of difference will be very crucial. Same thing with focus pulling. If you are doing it with a video feed that lags, you will be too slow to pull the focus correctly. That's why use the speed mode. Also, if you add the split second of lag on your wireless follow focus to the laggy video feed, they will add up and affect the result even more. Overall, the latency on the Mars 400S Pro is definitely very impressive, and it will work fine with many purposes. The latency when you are transmitting video to your phone or tablet is almost the same compared to using the receiver, which is awesome. We will talk about the app later in this video because the app is amazing with a lot of features. When it comes to connection strength, it really depends on the environment and the obstacles between the transmitter and the receiver. I had the receiver set up in my house and I started walking outside with the camera and the transmitter, and the signal was very good up until around 200 meters away. Keep in mind that I had a couple of walls between the transmitter and the receiver during the test. And trust me, there's not much point watching all kinds of tests because at the end of the day, it depends heavily on your environment. All we want to say is the Mars 400S Pro provides a very reasonable range of connection. I don't think I will often get into situations where the transmitter is very far or in a different room from the receiver, so for most of the scenarios, it should be fine. One important thing to keep in mind is that if you are using a smart device as the monitor instead of using the actual receiver, the range will be smaller and the signal strength will be weaker by about 1/4. The Hollyland Mars 400S Pro has both SDI and HDMI input. This is very important because as you grow your career as a videographer, this wireless transmitter is going to grow with you from using HDMI connection to more industry standard SDI connection. I'm very excited one day when I can start using SDI connection on this device. Since there is a built-in fan in the Mars 400S Pro, noise is a very important thing we need to consider when we are filming on set. Here's an example of how loud the fan is at slow and auto mode, so you know if your mic will pick up the fan noise or not for your setup. Alright, so this is to show you guys how loud the fan can go. There's a built-in fan in both units, and you can actually set the fan speed in the menu. It's a second item. I'm just going to show you that I have it set to auto, so it's not slow, it's not off. You can actually turn it off completely if you want to, but let me show you how loud it is. It's actually super quiet, so I don't even think you can like record or pick up any noise. And I'm going to bring my lav mic to the fan, which is underneath the battery right now. This is where the fan is located, which is nice because it's kind of cooling down the battery as well. One thing to keep in mind is the unit will get warm. I have the unit turned on for about half an hour to an hour. It gets warm pretty quickly, but it doesn't go like hot even after running for half an hour, over an hour. It doesn't get hot, but it will definitely feel warm. So let me bring the lav mic close by. I really don't think you can hear anything. Even the fan on my light, it's louder than what this fan is doing. I can barely hear it with my ear really close by, so I don't think it will be a really important issue that you'll be facing on set. And I would suggest you to keep the fan on auto because this unit will get warm. I don't want to overheat it, I don't want to burn anything inside, so try to keep it on, but it's super quiet, so don't worry about it. To be honest with you, even when the fan was on, I could barely hear it with my ear almost touching the unit. So I'm not too worried about the noise being picked up by the mic. But you do have the option to turn off the fan if you need it to be completely silent. Since both the transmitter and the receiver get warm very quickly, not hot, but warm, I would say after about 20 minutes of use, I highly recommend keeping the fan on. It doesn't really make that much of noise anyway. The Mars 400S Pro is capable of transmitting 1080p video up to 60 frames per second. This is a very decent image quality and frame rate. It is definitely good enough for purpose of monitoring the shot because a lot of video monitors are either 5 or 7-inch big, and it is not that big of a difference between a 1080p and a 4K on a monitor that size. Being able to sync video at 60p is probably more important because you will be able to monitor different kinds of video, depends on the effect you want as the final product. Let's say if you're filming sports, it is pretty common to film at 60p not only because you can slow it down in post, but the shutter speed will make the action look sharper. When it comes to power options, you're able to power each unit with the Sony L-series batteries, the power adapter, or USB-C. I think the most common way to power the device will be with the Sony L-series batteries to have the cleanest wireless setup. By the way, Sony L-series batteries are the same as NPF batteries, if you're wondering, because I was wondering. Another very unique feature of the Mars 400S Pro is the ability to transmit video wirelessly to up to 4 smartphones or tablets via the Hollywood app. This is super handy because now you can allow more than one crew member or client to see the footage without having them standing behind your back. The combinations are pretty easy to remember. You can connect one transmitter to up to 2 receivers, and one receiver represents 2 smart devices. So in order to use the Hollywood app, you'll have to download the app onto your smart device. They support both Android and iOS devices, so I'm gonna show you guys how to connect it using your iPad. If it's iPhone, it's the same thing. I assume that Android's the same layout as well. So after downloading the app, you'll have to connect it to the Wi-Fi provided from the transmitter on your smart device. I think the default password is on the user's menu, so just take a look. And after you have connected to the Wi-Fi from the transmitter, open up the app, tap on connect. What you're going to be asked for is the 7-digit serial number on the transmitter. So after entering the serial number, tap on connect or done, I can't remember the word. Then you will see the video signal with all the settings, all the features available. And this is how you can connect your smart device to the Hollyland Mars 400S Pro. As I said before, the latency and the image quality of the video in the app, it's almost the same as when you are using the receiver. That is very impressive. Again, the only downside of using a smart device as a monitor is the shorter distance of connection. I would say about a quarter shorter. In this part, I'm going to quickly demonstrate the HollyView app to show you some of its main features. If you're not planning to use the app at all, you can skip to the next part of the video, but I would highly recommend you to take a look because it is very amazing. Okay, let's take a look at the HollyView app. I'm not sure why so many people are not talking about the app because I found it really interesting and it's actually really good. And the first thing is the latency and the picture quality. It's really decent compared to using the receiver connecting to an actual monitor. So what you're seeing right now, it's a camera recording an image, not even recording, it's just pointing at the receiver. But then the Wi-Fi signal, it's giving the image onto my iPad using the Hollyland app. If you tap on the screen, you can see that you have a lot of different options here in terms of monitoring. Not even my monitor has all the feature. This is amazing. So you have a waveform monitor, which is absolutely amazing compared to a lot of monitors out there, or even cameras. They usually don't come with a waveform monitor. Not even my Blackmagic Pocket 4K, but the GH5 has it. And you can switch it to histogram. You have a histogram right here. Again, as you can see, you can move it around. I'll show you another cool thing after this. And you have focus assist. You can see that it's actually pretty accurate. I didn't turn on the focus assist on my GH5 because I don't want you guys to see like the blue highlight. But then the focus assist is really good. The focus peaking, not focus assist, focus peaking. I can turn off these things to have a clean feed. And of course I have zebra, and this part is probably clipping, that's why it's having that zebra pattern. And you can actually set the zebra level in the app, which is kind of crazy. So if I turn that off, I have another thing called frame. This is the frame guide. Again, you can set the size of the frame, which is amazing. And you have magnify, and you can move it around. This app is actually really good, to be honest with you. And this is amazing. You have false color on an app. This is not even available on my monitor. Plus, because my monitor is only like $100, so it won't have like any waveform monitor. And you have filters. This is a mono filter. I'll turn it off. You have LUTs. This is not going to look good because I'm not too sure how you can, or maybe you cannot load your own custom LUTs into this app yet. They have default LUTs. So I'm going to show you how to get access to the second level menu. If you tap and hold on to a button, let's say the 3D LUT button, you can see that we're on C-Log 2 and I'm recording with in GH5, so that's why it's not showing the proper color. They have Canon C-Log, Sony S-Log. The most popular kind of consumer mirrorless camera. I wish that they can keep this thing on for longer. But anyway, if you tap and hold on to each menu item, you can see that you have different kind of options available on the second level. For false color, this is really cool because not a lot of people know how to read false color. They actually have a chart for you, which is amazing. I wish like other monitor or my Blackmagic Pocket camera, when I turn on the false color, they will have this chart, but they don't.
So second level menu, you can have that. You can turn it off. Magnification, if you tap and hold, you can select the size of the magnification box, and you can have like different kind of color for the frame. So this is really cool. And for frame, as I said, you can choose different frame kind of guide, and the color, transparency, center mark, and what else? See, like I only wish they can keep those things on for a little bit longer, or they can resize. Yeah, so you can have different framing guide. I always like shooting in 239, but that's just a personal preference. You can switch it to any size you want. Zebra, of course, you can set the zebra level to lower threshold, or I usually set it at 95%. So if anything over that will probably for sure be clipping, just like this area and this area right there. You can turn it off. Focus peaking, you can change the color of the focus peaking and the threshold again to make it easier for you to focus pull. Histogram, second level, it's just the transparency of that graph. So you can make it like, oops, it's not real. Oh, it is actually doing something. So this is completely at 100%. Come on. And this is the most transparent. I think that's pretty good. Waveform monitor, same thing. It's just a transparency. I would say I would just turn it like all the way down because I can still see it. You can still see it, right? Just like that. Tools, I don't even know what that is. It doesn't do anything. And of course, inside the app, another really cool feature is you can take a screenshot like that, and you can start drawing on the screenshot, telling people, oh, this part is blown out, so you should do something about it to block the light. But this is a really cool feature, so I'm just going to delete the screenshot. And another really cool thing is you can actually record a video. So let's say if I go and do something, it's probably going to be recorded. Okay, stop. Again, you have this, and this is a video. So if the director or your client wants to record part of the clip just to use it as a reference to, let's say, monitor each take or to rehearse or to practice the scene, this is a really cool feature.
I was completely blown away by all the features in the app. Seriously, false color on an app? A lot of monitors on the market right now, well, at least the budget ones, can't even do some of the features in the Hollyview app. So if your camera or monitor doesn't have those features right now, the Hollyland Mars 400S Pro will be a great addition to your production. One very unique feature of the Mars 400S Pro is the ability to live stream wirelessly. You might be wondering why you need this when most of the cameras nowadays can plug and play to be used as a webcam. The main difference is now you can wirelessly live stream without having to attach your camera to the computer. This is great because you're now free to move around with your camera. Let's say if you are streaming a workshop, an event, or when you are giving a tour at a place. Your live stream will be a lot more interesting compared to having the camera sitting beside the computer because of the cable. Also, you can wirelessly monitor a live stream event with cameras set up at different spots while the person monitoring the live stream sitting at, let's say, a booth. Again, another kind of more professional situation. In order to wirelessly live stream with the Mars 400S Pro, you will need to get the USB-C to RJ45 adapter to connect the receiver to your computer. The adapter package does come with a 1 meter Ethernet cable, so you don't have to buy that separately. It took me a little while to figure out how to live stream with the Mars 400S Pro, but it is actually not that bad. I have never really live streamed before, so if I'm doing anything wrong, please let me know in the comment section below. The method I'm showing is for OBS Studio on a Mac, which is one of the most commonly used live streaming software. First, connect the receiver to your computer using the USB-C to RJ45 adapter. Power everything including the camera, the transmitter, the receiver, and of course your computer. Open System Preferences on your Mac, select Network, make sure that the Ethernet is connected with the green light. Open OBS Studio. Click the plus sign under sources to add a media source. Name the source anything you want. Click OK. Uncheck local file. Enter the full RTSP IP address provided in the USB-C to RJ45 adapter box. If you can't find it in the box, you can still go into the receiver settings and find the IP address. The next step is very important. Go down and check Seekable. Without checking this option, you will not be able to see the video feed. Click OK, and you should have your camera live view on the OBS screen. Now you can start streaming with a wireless camera setup. When it comes to build quality, the Mars 400S Pro is almost completely made of metal except the buttons and the antennas. It feels extremely rugged, and I'm sure it'll last for a long time on set. But one thing to keep in mind is that I'm pretty sure it is not weather resistant due to all the open ports on the units, so don't use it in a rainy situation. That's it. Those are my thoughts on the Hollyland Mars 400S Pro Wireless Video Transmitter. As a videographer, I'm always showing the footage on set to my clients so they can have a general idea of how the project looks like. It will motivate everyone on set because they can get a taste of the result on the spot. Trust me, it is a very nice and professional gesture. Having a wireless video transmitter makes it so much easier to share the video feed with the director, focus puller, clients, or anyone who needs to see the footage on set. The Hollyland Mars 400S Pro is definitely a great budget option that it's also a professional gear. I know it might sound weird when I call a $650 device a budget option, but when you look at the other wireless video transmitters on the market, you will understand what I mean because they can easily cost over $1,000. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.